My name is Jennifer and I was 18 years old the day my life completely changed. It was a hot afternoon when my parents called me into the living room. I thought maybe they wanted to talk about my college plans or the scholarship I had worked so hard to earn. I walked in with a smile, holding my acceptance letter, excited for my future. But the moment I saw their faces, everything inside me sank. My mom was standing with her arms crossed, my dad looked annoyed, and my younger sister, Lily, was sitting on the couch with a smirk on her face. Something felt wrong. "Sit down," my dad said. I sat quietly, confused. Then my mom said the one sentence that felt like a punch to my chest. "Your sister deserves the future. Not you." I blinked, not sure if I heard her correctly. "What?" I whispered. My dad didn't soften his voice. "We decided that Lily will use your scholarship. She is more promising. You should stop dreaming and let her shine." My hands began to shake. "But I earned that scholarship. I studied every night." Lily interrupted me with a proud smile. "Don't make this dramatic, Jen. I'll make better use of it." I felt my throat tighten. This couldn't be real. My mom walked toward me holding my suitcase, already packed. "You're leaving today," she said coldly. "You need to figure out your life on your own. We can't waste any more money on you." I stood up in shock. "You're kicking me out? I don't have anywhere to go." My dad grabbed the front door, opened it, and pointed outside. "You'll survive. You're 18 now." I took a small step back as tears filled my eyes. I wasn't ready. I wasn't even healthy. I had been sick for days, but they didn't care. Lily rolled her eyes and said softly, almost laughing, "You'll thank us later." Maybe. That was the moment something inside me shattered. My mother pushed the suitcase into my hands and said, "Go." And just like that, the door shut behind me. I stood outside in the heat, dizzy and weak. My vision blurred. I tried to take a breath, but pain hit my chest. I hadn't eaten properly in days, and the fever I had ignored suddenly felt worse. I remember taking one small step toward the gate. Then everything went dark. That was the day my family chose my sister over me. The day they threw me away as if I didn't matter. But they had no idea what I would become 5 years later. When I opened my eyes again, the world felt blurry and cold. A soft beeping sound echoed near my ear. For a moment I didn't know where I was, until I saw the white walls. A clinic. I was lying on a narrow bed, covered with a thin blanket, my body shaking with chills I couldn't control. My head throbbed. My throat was dry. I tried to sit up, but my arms felt too weak. A nurse walked in and quickly placed her hand on my shoulder. "Easy," she said gently. "You fainted outside your house. A neighbor called an ambulance." Her voice was kind, and that alone made tears slip down my cheeks. Someone, anyone, had cared enough to call for help. Not my family. Not the people who raised me. A stranger. The nurse checked my temperature and sighed. "You've been sick for a while, haven't you?" I nodded, embarrassed. "I didn't want to worry anyone." She gave me a soft, sad smile. "Honey, the only person who should be worried about you is yourself." After she left, a doctor entered with a clipboard. He explained that I had a severe infection caused by stress, exhaustion, and not eating properly. I needed antibiotics, rest, and monitoring. But then he asked the question I feared most. "Is there anyone we can call? Any family?" I stared at my hands. "No." He looked at me for a moment, then nodded. He didn't ask again. Later that evening, after the medication made me feel a little stronger, a woman entered the room. She wore a simple sweater, had a warm smile, and introduced herself as Ms. Turner, a social worker who worked with young adults in crisis. "I heard your case," she said softly. "I know today must have been painful. I'm here to help you get back on your feet." No one had ever said that to me before. She pulled up a chair. "You're smart. You finished high school with great grades. You have potential. I want you to apply for a scholarship program we run for abandoned youth. It includes housing, food support, and college tuition." My heart stopped. A scholarship? But I already lost mine. She shook her head. "That one wasn't lost. It was stolen from you. Now it's time for you to take back your future." I didn't know what to say. For the first time in months, I felt a spark of hope inside me. "Do you really think I can start over?" I whispered. She reached for my hand. "I don't just think it. I'm sure of it." Those words healed something inside me that had been broken for a long time. That night, lying in that clinic bed, I made a quiet promise to myself. I will build a life so strong, so successful, so unshakable, that the people who threw me away will one day regret it. I didn't know how. I didn't know when. But I knew I would fight for it. And I had no idea that 5 years later life would bring my sister straight into my office, right when I had the power to decide her future. Leaving the clinic the next week felt like stepping into a brand new world. One where nothing was certain but everything was possible. I still felt weak, but I wasn't the same girl who had collapsed outside her parents' house. Something inside me had woken up. Miss Turner met me at the entrance with a folder in her hands. "Ready?" she asked. I nodded even though I was terrified. She guided me to a small community center where the scholarship interviews were happening. The building was old, the walls needed paint and the ceiling lights flickered, but it was warm inside. People smiled at me, not out of politeness but with genuine kindness. Something my family rarely gave. Inside the office, Miss Turner sat next to me as I filled out form after form. For the first time someone wanted my information. My story. My goals. No one was trying to take anything from me. Despite my nervous hands, I wrote everything honestly. When they asked for an emergency contact, I paused. My pen froze above the line. Miss Turner noticed. "You can leave it blank," she whispered. Something inside my chest tightened, but I kept writing. The interview panel had 3 people. A soft-spoken woman, a strict older man with glasses, and a cheerful younger man who kept smiling at me for reassurance. They asked simple questions at first. My name, my grades, my dreams. Then came the question that made my throat close. "Why do you want this scholarship?" I looked down at my hands, still shaking a little. "I just want a chance to live," I said quietly. "A real chance. I want to study. I want to work. I want to build something for myself. I didn't have support at home. But I want to prove I can still make something of my life." The room went silent. For a second I worried I had said the wrong thing. But then the strict man with glasses leaned forward and said, "Young lady, that is the most honest answer we've heard in a long time." 2 days later, I received an email from the scholarship committee. I got accepted. I read it again and again, my hands trembling, tears filling my eyes. I couldn't believe it. Someone finally saw worth in me. Someone believed in me. Miss Turner hugged me when I told her. "I knew you could do it," she said. "Now let's get you set up in your new housing." It was a small, shared apartment for students in the program. Nothing fancy, just 2 rooms, a tiny kitchen and a mattress that squeaked every time I moved. But to me it felt like a palace. My first night there, I lay on that squeaky mattress staring at the ceiling, overwhelmed. I didn't have money. I didn't have family. I didn't even have proper clothes for college yet. But I had something far more important. A beginning. I promised myself I would never waste this opportunity. I woke up early every day, studied harder than everyone, worked evening jobs to save money and kept pushing myself. Slowly I started to see changes. I was getting straight A's. Professors began to notice me. A senior student recommended me for a part-time office internship. I learned how to speak confidently, dress professionally and manage work and college together. People saw me as a focused, hardworking girl. Nobody knew I was rebuilding my entire life from scratch. 1 year passed. Then 3. And by the 5th year I wasn't just another college graduate. I was the head of recruitment at a respected company. I had built my name, my reputation, my independence. The same girl who was thrown out at 18 was now interviewing candidates who dreamed of the job I had earned. Little did I know, the next candidate who would walk into my office would be the last person I ever expected to see again. My sister. The morning my sister walked into my office started like any other. I arrived early, coffee in hand, reviewing the stack of job applications waiting on my desk. Our company had grown fast and we were hiring new interns and junior associates. I scanned through each resume. Some impressive, some average, some clearly rushed. Then my hand stopped. My eyes froze on a name I hadn't spoken, heard, or even thought about in 5 years. Lily Parker. For a moment I forgot how to breathe. Her resume was thin, very thin. A half-finished degree, no real job experience, and a list of skills that looked copied from the internet. But the part that hit me hardest was her address. My parents' house. The same house they threw me out of. The same house they claimed I didn't deserve. Why was she applying for a job here? And why now? I leaned back in my chair, letting the shock settle into something colder, sharper. They had no idea where I was. But I knew exactly who I had become. I checked the interview schedule. Her appointment was at 11:30 a.m. Signed to me by coincidence. Or maybe fate. At 11:25 I straightened my blazer, tied my hair back neatly and walked into the conference room. I sat in my chair, the one at the head of the table, calm, composed, powerful. My heart was beating fast, but not from fear. From closure. The door opened. Lily walked in wearing a borrowed-looking suit, holding a file pressed to her chest. Her hair was messy, her eyes tired, and her confidence, once overflowing, seemed shaky. She didn't recognize me at first. She didn't even look up properly. "Hi," she mumbled. "I'm here for the..." Then her voice stopped. Her head lifted. Her eyes widened. Her mouth fell open. Jennifer," she whispered. I did not stand. I did not smile. I did not hug her like the naive sister I used to be. I simply said in a calm, controlled voice, "Please take a seat. We're here to discuss your qualifications." Her legs trembled as she sat down. She clutched her file like it was the only thing keeping her grounded. I didn't know you worked here," she said, her voice shaking. "I don't work here," I corrected gently. "I run this department." She swallowed hard. The silence between us was thick, almost suffocating. I opened her resume. "Your degree isn't finished." "Why?" She looked down at her hands. He dropped out. "Why?" She hesitated. Then in a small voice, "I couldn't keep up. I partied too much, skipped tests. I messed everything up." I nodded, taking notes. "Any job experience?" She shook her head. "No one would hire me. My reputation at school, it got around." "And your parents?" I asked quietly. "They didn't help?" A bitter look crossed her face. "They can't. Dad lost his job last year. Mom took out loans for me, but everything fell apart. We're drowning." I watched her carefully. This wasn't the proud, spoiled girl who smirked when I was kicked out. This was someone broken by her own choices, and by the same people who once praised her as the deserving child. Then Lily whispered something I wasn't prepared for. "Mom told me you disappeared. That you didn't care about us anymore. That you were selfish." I felt a strange calm rise in me. "I didn't disappear," I said. "I was thrown out." Lily closed her eyes in shame. "I know," she whispered. "I found out later. I'm sorry, Jen. I'm so sorry." A tear slid down her cheek. For the first time in years, I saw her not as the sister who replaced me, but as a girl who never learned how to stand on her own. I closed the file slowly. "Let's continue," I said. "Tell me why you want this job." She lifted her head, breath shaky. "Because I want to start over," she said. "I want a chance. The kind you never got." Her honesty cut deeper than anything else. She didn't know it, but her words were planting a seed of forgiveness inside me. A seed I didn't expect but couldn't ignore. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Lily sat across from me, shoulders shaking, trying to gather her breath. I had imagined this moment for years, how it would feel to face the people who threw me away. I thought I would feel anger or pride or some kind of triumphant satisfaction. But all I felt was an unexpected heaviness. She wasn't the same girl who had smirked while my parents pushed me out the door. Life had already punished her in ways I never could. So this was an interview. And I was her evaluator, not her sister. I straightened the files on the table. "Lily," I said, keeping my voice calm and professional, "the truth is your resume is weak. Your degree isn't finished. You don't have experience, references, or any real training." She nodded quickly, wiping her tears. I know I'm not qualified. But I'll work hard. I swear. I'll learn anything. I'll do anything." I could hear the desperation in her voice. The same desperation I had felt 5 years ago, standing outside our parents' house with nowhere to go. I leaned back slightly. "Before I make any decision," I said, "there's something you should understand. When you and Mom and Dad threw me out, I had no money, no food, no shelter. I was sick. I collapsed right outside the house." Her face dropped in horror. "What?" Jen, I didn't know." "They knew," I said softly. "And they didn't care." Lily covered her mouth with her shaking hand. "Mom told me you left because you wanted to. She said you were stubborn." A sad, tired laugh escaped me. "They lied to both of us." She lowered her head, tears hitting the table. "I'm so sorry. For everything. If I could go back and stop them, I would. I was stupid. Spoiled. I thought they were right. For a moment my heart softened, not for the past but for the girl sitting in front of me now. Broken. Lost. Finally facing reality. I took a deep breath. Lily, here's the truth. I can't give you a job you're not qualified for. That wouldn't help you. And it wouldn't be fair to others. Her face crumbled. Please, please don't reject me. This is my last chance. I'm not rejecting you, I said. Her eyes snapped up. I'm offering you something better. She stared at me confused. You'll start as an intern, I continued. It's the lowest position here. The pay is basic. The hours are long. You'll train, learn, and rebuild your work ethic from zero. She blinked quickly. I'll take it. Anything. I'm grateful, really I am. This isn't a favor, I said firmly. This is an opportunity you have to earn every single day. No shortcuts. No excuses. She nodded, wiping her tears again, but this time with determination. I'll prove myself, she whispered. I promise. For the first time since she entered the room, I smiled gently. Good. Your training starts Monday. She exhaled shakily, half relief, half disbelief. Then she said something that caught me completely off guard. Jen, can you ever forgive me? I paused. The old me, the girl who was kicked out, betrayed, humiliated, would have said no. But the person I had become, the woman who rebuilt her life from nothing, she answered differently. I'm not ready for that, I said honestly. But I am willing to see who you become from here onward. Lily nodded, accepting it. That was the moment I realized something important. Forgiveness is not forgetting. It's choosing to move forward without letting the past control you. And I had finally learned how to move forward. Lily started her internship the following Monday. I watched her from a distance, not as a sister but as a department head. She arrived early, took notes obsessively, stayed late, and asked questions even when she was scared. She made mistakes, many of them, but she owned every single one. No excuses. No attitude. It was strange seeing her like this. The girl who once believed she was entitled to everything was now learning how to earn something for the first time. Some nights, after everyone left, I sat alone in my office and wondered how our lives had twisted so sharply. How the sister who once smirked as I was thrown out was now picking up coffee orders and filing paperwork under my supervision. Life had a way of circling back. But not always to hurt, sometimes to heal. A few weeks later, I received a phone call from an unknown number. I ignored it. Then it rang again. And again. Finally I answered. Jennifer, a familiar voice said. My stomach tightened. My mother. I didn't say a word. We heard that you helped Lily get a job, she said. Your father and I want to talk. Things have been hard here. We need. I hung up. No hesitation. No guilt. No second thoughts. The girl who begged for their love was gone. A minute later, another message came in, this time from my father. We are still your parents. You owe us respect. I stared at the screen and felt a strange calm wash over me. Respect is earned, not demanded. And they taught me that the day they threw me away. I blocked their numbers. A month later, Lily knocked on my office door holding her training evaluation. She looked nervous. Come in, I said. She sat down and handed me the papers. I passed the first phase. They want to keep me. I scanned the evaluation. Her scores were good. Better than I expected. You worked for this, I said. You earned it. She smiled for the first time, genuinely. Not the proud, spoiled smile I remembered, but something warm and humble. Jen, she said softly, I know I was part of what happened to you. I know I didn't defend you. I know I didn't help you when you needed me. But I'm trying now. I want to be better. I nodded. I see that. She hesitated, then added quietly. Mom and Dad, they're upset you blocked them. They said they want to talk to you. I know, I replied. And I'm not going back. She looked down. I don't blame you. Her voice trembled, but not from guilt, from understanding. A week later came the final twist. I received an email from our company's executive board. They were expanding the recruitment division and promoting one leadership role. My role. I had been chosen to become the new director of human resources. A position only a few people in the whole company ever reached. I closed the email and let out a slow breath. I had worked for this. Every sleepless night, every hard shift, every lonely step. It all led here. Later that day, Lily walked into my office with a hesitant smile. "Can I ask you something?" she said. "Sure." She took a deep breath. "How did you do it? How did you survive everything they did? How did you become this?" I looked at her for a long moment before answering. "I stopped waiting for someone to save me," I said. "I saved myself." Her eyes softened. "I want to learn that too." "You will," I said. "If you keep choosing the hard path instead of the easy one." That evening as I left the building, I looked at the city skyline. Bright, loud, full of life. I realized something important. My past didn't break me. My parents didn't define me. Being thrown out didn't end me. It created me. The woman I became. The power I earned. The peace I built slowly, painfully alone. All of it was mine. And for the first time in years, I whispered a truth I finally believed. I am enough.